They say life has a strange way of humbling you. I used to look down on people living differently than me, expressing themselves in ways I didn't understand, and I'd judge them. Silently. Internally. I thought I was better, stronger, more normal. But the truth? I became exactly what I condemned. And it changed everything. I'm standing here today, looking back at the man I was just months ago, and I barely recognize him. Not because I've changed on the outside, but because I finally saw what was hiding on the inside. This is my story. A story about pride, fear, and the night I looked into the mirror and saw a stranger staring back. A stranger who was more me than I'd ever been. And it all began with a single fun on my fiance's birthday. My name is Thomas. I'm 28 years old. Practical, structured. The kind of guy who irons his shirts on Sunday nights and meal preps for the week ahead. I was raised to believe that masculinity meant control. It meant straight lines, plain colors, and no surprises. My father never wore anything but button-downs and khakis. My brother played football. I followed the script without question. I was the safe man, the reliable one, the one people could count on to never rock the boat. But safety can become its own kind of prison. You don't realize the walls you've built until something cracks them. There was something I never talked about, something I buried so deep I almost convinced myself it didn't exist. Back in college, I remember two classmates. Both carried themselves differently. They wore delicate jewelry, moved with a kind of grace I couldn't name, dressed in ways that blurred the lines I'd been taught were so important. And they looked great, confident, free. But I didn't understand it. I couldn't. Or maybe I didn't want to. I remember sitting in the cafeteria, watching them laugh with their friends, and feeling this strange mixture of confusion and something else. Something I couldn't name. So I did what I'd been trained to do. I dismissed it. I told myself it was strange. Unnatural. Not for me. I felt uninterested. Uncomfortable even. Looking back now, I realize I wasn't judging them. I was just uninterested. Afraid of what it might mean if I ever let myself feel what they were feeling. April 14th. Kamala's 26th birthday. The woman I was going to marry. My soulmate. The one who believed I was the perfect man. Our house was filled with lights, laughter, music. Her family, my family, our closest friends. Everything felt warm, joyful, safe. I remember standing in the kitchen, watching her smile as she opened gifts, and thinking to myself, this is it. This is the life I built. Then the MC took the mic. All right, everyone, let's spice things up a little. How about we do a drag show? And guess what? The fiancé becomes the diva tonight. The room erupted in cheers, my stomach dropped. I looked around, everyone was clapping, laughing, waiting. My sister Haley was grinning like this was the best idea she'd ever heard. Kamala's eyes lit up with excitement. And then she turned to me. Come on, babe, she whispered, leaning close so only I could hear. It's just for fun. You'll look amazing. I felt my chest tighten. My masculinity, my pride, everything I'd built my identity on was screaming at me to say no, to laugh it off, to decline the offer. But everyone was watching, waiting, expecting. Kamala squeezed my hand. Please? And in that moment, surrounded by laughter and eyes and the weight of expectation, I made a decision I never thought I would. I said yes. I told myself it was just a joke, a quick laugh, something to forget by morning. My sister Haley and Kamala led me upstairs to the bedroom. The door closed behind us, and suddenly, the noise from the party became a distant hum. Okay, Haley said, pulling out a garment bag. We're going all out. She unzipped it, and I saw it. An emerald green satin evening gown. Luxurious. Elegant. Nothing like the cheap costume I'd expected. You're serious, I muttered. Very, Kamala said, smiling. They helped me out of my shirt, my jeans. And then came the dress. The first touch of that satin against my skin. I'll never forget it. Cold at first, then strangely warm, like it was learning me. It slid over my shoulders, down my chest, pooling around my feet. It had an off-shoulder sweetheart neckline, structured cups that shaped my torso in ways I didn't know were possible. Dramatic puffed sleeves ending just above my elbows, a sculpted bow at the waist, and a high slit that revealed one leg. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I looked different. Now sit, Kamala said, pulling out her makeup kit. I sat, and for the next 40 minutes, I felt things I'd never felt before. The brush gliding across my cheekbones, the smell of her perfume in the air, the delicate touch of eyeliner along my lids, lipstick smoothed across my lips, lashes applied one by one. Haley styled my hair into a sleek, high ponytail. Smooth. Glossy. Perfect. Then came the heels. Gold, strappy heels with a metallic finish. I slipped them on, stood up, and immediately wobbled. "Walk," Haley said. I took a step. Then another. At first, I hated it. The instability. The forced posture. The way they made me hyper-aware of every movement. But then, I didn't. Something shifted. I felt taller, more intentional, more present. I looked in the mirror again, and I didn't see Thomas anymore. If that version of me had stayed locked away any longer, I don't think I'd have survived myself. I saw someone else, someone confident, someone radiant, someone alive. "It's time," Kamala whispered. I took a breath, and I walked out. The stairs felt endless. I could hear the party below. Music, laughter, voices blending together, and then I reached the top of the staircase. The room fell silent. Every eye turned toward me. For a split second, I wanted to run, to rip off the dress, the heels, the makeup, and hide. But then the cheers erupted. Applause, whistling, laughter, but not the cruel kind, the joyful kind. The MC shouted, "Give it up for the birthday diva's groom," and the crowd went wild. I walked down those stairs with a grace I didn't know I had, one step at a time, steady, confident. Kamala was clapping, her eyes widen. She looked proud, surprised, moved. Her mother was laughing, taking photos. My brother was cheering. Even my father, stoic as ever, had the faintest smile on his face. For a brief, fleeting moment, I felt powerful, beautiful, seen. I reached the bottom of the stairs, and Kamala rushed over, pulling me into a hug. "You're stunning," she whispered. Cameras flashed. People came up, compliment me, tell me how amazing I looked, and I believed them. That night, I didn't feel like a joke. I felt like I had discovered a version of myself I never thought existed. The party ended around midnight. People left. The house grew quiet. Kamala and I cleaned up a little, then headed upstairs. I took off the dress, the heels, wiped away the makeup, but I couldn't wipe away what I felt. I lay in bed that night, replaying everything in my mind. The weight of the gown, the echo of heels on the floor, the warmth of the applause. A part of me was terrified, not because of what I felt, but because I liked it more than I was supposed to. This wasn't casual. I felt alive. But part of me wished it wasn't over. The next morning, I woke up before Kamala. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through the photos from the night before. And there I was. Not as a joke, not as a caricature, as someone radiant, free, real. There was something in my eyes, something I didn't recognize, but something I didn't want to lose. I looked over at Kamala, still sleeping peacefully beside me, her hand resting gently on the pillow. I loved her. I still do. But in that moment, I felt torn. Torn between the man I'd always been and the person I'd glimpsed in the mirror. And I didn't know how to tell her. Days turned into weeks, but that reflection from the mirror never left me. It followed me into my sleep, into my silence, into the spaces between who I was and who I'm becoming. It's been 3 months since that night. Life has gone back to normal. I go to work. I come home. Kamala and I plan the wedding. Everything looks the same on the outside. But inside? Inside, I feel transformed. I find myself thinking about that night more than I should. The way the fabric felt. The way I moved. The way people looked at me. Not with pity. Not with mockery. With admiration. I haven't told Kamala how deeply it affected me. She thinks it was just a fun party moment, a silly dare we'll laugh about years from now. But it was more than that. It cracked something open inside me. Something I never thought I'd discovered. And now, I don't know how to close it again. Or if I even want to. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that emerald dress still hanging in the back of Kamala's closet. She doesn't know I tried it on again. Looking back now, I realize something. I was never really mocking those classmates in college. I was condemning something I was too afraid to explore, too scared to understand. The truth is, there was never a monster at all. Just a version of me I wasn't brave enough to love. It was me, waiting to be seen. I don't have all the answers yet. I don't know what this means for my future, for my relationship, for the life I thought I was building. But I know one thing. I'm not the same man I was before that night. And I'm not sure I want to be. So I'll leave you with this. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you tell her? Would you keep it a secret? Would you explore it further or bury it again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. There's more to come. Thank you for listening. The end.
The Gender Diary exists to light that path with shared stories. Whether you found connection in this narrative, you're on your own journey of gender exploration, or you're here seeking understanding, your subscription fuels our mission. Every subscriber empowers us to keep illuminating these authentic experiences for our community. Kindly drop a comment below. Your voice adds to the tapestry of experiences that makes this space meaningful. Until our next story unfolds.